This is you without Collaborator. Invisible, just another seagull. And this is you with Collaborator. Get noticed in the AI era.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Online visibility is not luck, it's a strategy. Combine SEO, digital PR, and content distribution to grow. Visit adz.com to learn more.
My name is Christina, and I'm really nervous. I haven't done this in a very long time. I also work remotely, so I don't see as many people as I see today very often. But yeah, the challenge with being the very last person to speak is, one, I've had to sit with my nerves for the entire day. Two, I'm sure all of you are very tired. And three, I have a feeling that some of the things that I'm going to share you've already heard today. But hopefully, even if you just walk away with one new learning, that's good enough for me. So yeah, we're very stoked to be here. We're going to talk about what happens when no one Googles anymore. But first off, they still do. Spoiler alert. But I think we're witnessing something way more nuanced than the binary thinking that most people fall into. So very quick context before we get into the thick of it. I'm Christina, former YC founder, now doing marketing things at Northlang, which is a very early stage company. We're a Series A company based in London. Before that, I've led marketing and growth at a handful of other early stage startups. At Northlang, we're building a developer platform, which means I spend my time trying to convince incredibly skeptical engineers to buy our product. At the same time, that is also an interesting thing because they're sort of like case studies for us on learning how to get to people who are very allergic to any kind of marketing. All right, so let's establish some intellectual honesty first. Google processes 4.7 billion searches daily versus ChatGPT, which is 185 million. It's not close. But the round numbers miss something. We're seeing behavioral segmentation emerge, different intent patterns driving people to different tools. But, and the but here is very, very crucial, we're not really seeing replacement. Instead, we're seeing specializations, which is what most disruption theories suggest. It's how markets evolve, not through direct competition, but through serving different jobs to be done. And there's three things happening. First, AI platforms are growing fast. ChatGPT doubled users while Google declined 4.3%. We have here the difference between December 2024, April 2025. The interesting question is why? What job is AI doing that traditional search isn't? And in my opinion, you might disagree with me, you might agree with me, a big part of it is providing synthesis and not just links. Second trend we're seeing is community curation. Reddit influences 74% of buying decisions and is currently the top source of information for LLMs, which is almost double that of Google. This is a perfect example. Someone asking about versatile alternatives. This is discovery happening in communities. The third shift that we're seeing is engagement, quality over quantity. AI users spend 67% more time on sites. That's 9 minutes versus 5 minutes that they're doing on Google. This suggests that there's higher intent and more qualified traffic. So basically, I think in summary, what this is saying is they're looking for answers. Communities want validation, which someone talked about earlier as well. And then Google is still for browsing. And I'm seeing it, my team is seeing it very firsthand when it comes to conversions. We started doing SEO, AEO, GEO, whatever you want to call it, content in January of this year. We went from 0 to thousands of monthly conversions from blog posts. So we have here, this is a screenshot from PostHog. If you're not using PostHog, recommend using it. I love it. These are conversions from articles that were discovered through ChatGPT. ChatGPT traffic is converting at 42%, 34%, 32%, whereas organic search 3.47, 3.3, 3.27. ChatGPT traffic is converting 10 times higher than organic search. It's somewhere between 30 to 40% for us versus 3% for organic search. Sure, I'm sure you're going to say this, there is lower volume, but there's dramatically higher quality. And I think this really validates the intent hypothesis. AI users arrive pre-qualified through the synthesis process. So the strategic questions becomes, how do you optimize intent quality across multiple discovery channels? And I think there's currently 3 pillars, or at least this is what I've experimented with. You have AI for citations, communities for reputation, and Google for foundation. Let's start with the AI platforms first. Then you have your ChatGPT, your Claude, Perplexity, whatever other LLM you're using. Your number one goal should be making it as easy as possible for LLMs to understand and cite your stuff. The counterintuitive insight here, though, is this isn't radically different from what good SEO has always been. Make content understandable, citable, valuable. The medium changes, but the fundamentals don't change. Technical implementation follows very classic information architecture principles. You lead with the answers, you use semantic structure, provide quotable insights. AI systems reward clarity and authority. We all know this, same as humans always have. This is a quick example of things that we add to our blog post, for instance. A bunch of TLDRs at the beginning of the articles. We see this cited in LLMs very, very frequently. FAQs, I'm sure everyone knows this. I'm not saying anything brand new. You have fast loading, lead with answers in your first 100 words, use headers, add data. AI loves citing numbers, so the more numbers you have, obviously they have to be accurate, the better. Write in chunks that are easy to quote. And when you need more words, you do not, or rather you don't need more words. LLMs do not care about 10,000 word listicles, just like humans, they want to get the answer as soon as possible. But what about robots.txt and LLMs.txt? Everyone's obsessing about it. Robots.txt has mixed compliance. Some respect it, others ignore it. LLMs.txt has 0 confirmed adoption. Now, classic case, in my opinion, of tooling high preceding actual platform support. And I would love to be proven wrong, so please come afterwards and tell me if you have different thoughts or if you have any reliable sources on why we should be putting all of our energy into LLMs.txt. Next up, we have communities. So I'll be talking specifically about Reddit. The key insight here is you're not really marketing to communities, you're contributing to knowledge networks. Again, LLMs are using content that's coming from Reddit and other communities to give answers to people looking to buy certain products. The way I see it for communities, the number one thing you have to do is constantly monitor when your product could be an answer to a question. We do this religiously at Northflank, particularly by monitoring competitor keywords. So I think the tool we're using here is Octolens. I'm sure there's like hundreds, thousands of them. And before anything else, you need to find where your prospects hang out. For us, it's subreddits like DevOps, Local Llama, Vercel, which is one of the competitors, self-hosted, for people who are looking to host open source projects. So how do you get started with Reddit? The number one thing I have to say is you have to provide value above everything else. Redditors are notoriously allergic to marketing. They can smell self-promotion from like 3-5 subreddits away. You need to establish genuine credibility first. Share your actual failures, the stuff that took you months to figure out, what you've learned from it, technical insights you wish someone had told you earlier, the messy in-between of building your product and building your team and things like that. You have to build your reputation over 3 to 6 months before even thinking about mentioning your company. Comment before you post. This is very much basic community etiquette that most marketers completely ignore. They think, okay, I'm going to start marketing on Reddit, so I'm going to go and I'm going to create a post about what my product does. You can't really just show up and start creating threads. Spend weeks commenting thoughtfully on other people's posts. First, share original research or data. Communities go crazy for exclusive insights that they cannot get anywhere else. AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, are another really powerful thing that you can do. But again, you gotta build that reputation and you gotta be useful before you start doing things like that. So what exactly should you post? Sure, you know all the things not to do, all the things to do, but what exactly should you post? You can write detailed technical explanations. Redditors love deep technical content that most marketing teams would never create, unless they work for a very technical product. The stuff your engineers know, but assume everyone else knows too. You can offer free resources, templates, checklists, tools that solve actual problems. Communities like Reddit, especially, really, really appreciate when you give before you ask for anything. but at the same time, you need to make it really genuine. Again, I think the thing with Reddit is they can smell people not being genuine from miles away. This is an example of a post I wrote when I was at a previous company called Command AI. It drove, I think it was around 20,000 page views to the article that was linked at the very bottom right there. And I think it was like somewhere around 900 to 1,000 signups. And even months after it had been published, we still get new customers from it because people were searching for this company called Deal. It's I think, Series Z startup or something like that. And people were searching to see how they ended up growing and being one of the fastest growing companies. Now, headlines matter more than you think. Generic titles like lessons from building X get ignored. Specific, very much curiosity-driven headlines with concrete details work. We built X and made Y mistakes. Here's what we learned works so much better than lessons from building X. Redditors love data. Numbers immediately signal you actually tested things rather than just theorizing. We tested 5 different pricing models, tells people you have real experimental data. Compare that to here are some thoughts on pricing, which sounds like someone who's never actually run pricing experiments. Personal experience trumps theory every single time on Reddit. I spend $10,000, pounds, whatever, testing Reddit ads immediately tells people you have skin in the game and real money at risk. The first person framing also makes it feel like you're sharing with peers rather than lecturing. Redditors respond to vulnerability and authenticity. They want to learn from someone who's made those expensive mistakes and that they can learn from them. Now, if I'm being honest, when it comes to Reddit, there are more things you have to remember not to do than things you have to remember to do. Redditors will dig through your entire post history looking for evidence you're a shill. They'll connect dots that don't exist and build conspiracy theories about your motives. The community has developed serious antibodies against corporate influence because so many companies have tried to game the system at some point. I know I have, and failed, but then learned from it. So a couple of things you have to keep in mind. Never lead with product mentions. Don't open with, hey, we built this tool that solves X. It might work in some Reddits that are specifically destined for sharing your product. Don't post generic blog content. They want original thinking, not your latest listicle. Avoid obvious self-promotion, conveniently mentioning your startup or company in every single thread, linking to your blog as the solution to everything, or having your company name in the username. And obviously, do not ignore community culture and tone. What I recommend a lot of people do is spend time on that subreddit. Get to know how people talk in that subreddit, the way they express themselves, the structure of the post, read the rules, get to know the mods, things like that. And finally, the good old search engine. Every few years, there's a new thing that's supposedly going to kill SEO. Mobile was going to kill SEO, voice search was going to kill SEO. Now we have feature snippets, algorithm updates, all of it, all is going to kill SEO. But here we are, there's many of us. SEO evolved each time, but the fundamentals stayed the same. Create valuable content that solves real problems and make it easy for system to understand and surface. AI, in my opinion, is just the latest evolution. Your existing SEO work isn't suddenly worthless because ChatGPT exists. AI engines still crawl your existing content for training and for citations. In fact, 50% of AI-cited sources also rank in Google's top 10. Strong SEO fundamentals actually increase your chances of AI discovery. So in summary, don't throw away years of good work chasing the shiny new thing. Build on what's working. Do not replace it. So what do we focus on? Where do we focus our energy? Don't abandon keyword research, expand it. Instead of just optimizing for, in my case, for instance, at the company that I work with, is Kubernetes monitoring, because that's a very high intent keyword for us. We also optimize for how do I set up monitoring for a 50 service microservices architecture. AI users ask complete questions with context. Keep building quality backlinks. There's still authority signals for AI systems. You have to continue maintaining your technical SEO health because clean crawling means better AI access, and of course, as I said previously, have your websites be really fast. So the way I think about it is double duty optimization. It's a yes, optimize for Google rankings and AI citations. Yes, build for search algorithms and community engagement. The fundamentals remain the exact same. Create valuable content that solves real problems. The distribution channels multiply, but the core strategy does not change. Discovery, in my opinion, is becoming modular. So your audiences uses Google and Reddit and Claude for different parts of the same research journey. The winners optimize for the entire discovery ecosystem, not just the largest piece of it, which still is Google. And finally, your SEO work is not wasted. Anyone who tells you that is wrong. It's the foundation that AI engines build on. So enhance, do not replace, whether you call it SEO, GEO, AEO, IAO, whatever that is, at the end of the day, it's all still search optimization. Thank you.
Wait, do you want free ice cream, or do you want to know the latest in how search behavior is changing? If it's the latter, download Search Pulse by Reflect Digital. Get that now.
DemandSphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.
You've got two blind spots, keyword rankings and LLM visibility. Now, most tools solve one, but AccuRanker solves both. See how at booth number 18.